Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are taking a massive swing at the complex, politically charged, and magically explosive world of K.A Linde's House of Dragons.
Hmm.
If you've been trying to keep track of all the royal lineages, the secret powers, and, the deep-seated social fault lines that really define Alondria, we've done the synthesis for you.
Our mission here is not just to summarize the plot, because anyone can do that. It's to provide you, the listener, with the true context, the why behind all the conflict.
Right.
We're unpacking how ancient history, like the destruction of specific magical artifacts, directly fuels modern terrorism.
And how a protagonist who is just desperate for freedom is actually a political centerpiece she never ever asked to be.
Yeah, it's a story about hiding in plain sight.
And the brutal irony of inheriting a destiny you absolutely despise. So let's stop talking about it and jump right into the fire.
To really understand Kerrigan, you first have to understand the world that is, in many ways, hunting her. Alondria is a continent whose geography is literally coated with its political power structure. It's not just land. It's a statement of who is in charge.
Okay, so let's unpack this political geography. Looking at the map, Alondria is divided into three major land areas.
Yes.
You have Tosin in the north, which we don't see a ton of it initially.
Not at first, no.
Then there's Viland, which sits centrally on the eastern coast. And then finally, Moran, which stretches all across the south and west.
And these regions are bordered by these powerful defining seas. You've got the Everk Ocean to the west, the Gardic Sea to the east, and the Corvian Sea marks that whole southern border.
Right.
But what's crucial here, and you touched on it, is that Viland, that central territory, is the absolute epicenter of wealth and political control.
Yeah.
It's the domain of the powerful Bryonica house.
That concentration of power makes Viland the key to the entire narrative. It's where Kincadia, the capital city, is located.
Exactly.
And it also houses the two most important landmarks, Holy Mountain, which seems to have the spiritual importance, and Draco Mountain, which is literally the home of the House of Dragons. It's where Kerrigan grew up and trained. Everything revolves around this one coastal territory.
And we should also mention the Isla Song, sitting way out in the Gardic Sea.
Yeah, what's its deal?
Well, while it's geographically distant, its presence is like this constant reminder of the broader world. There are potentially future political players out there that exist beyond the immediate capital.
So it's a bit of foreshadowing.
Could be.
Okay, so if the continent sets the context, the capital city, Kincadia, sets the social hierarchy with almost like brutal efficiency.
It does. It is, quite literally, the city of divisions.
And you can see it on a map.
Exactly. Kincadia's structure isn't random at all. It's a perfect reflection of the social stratification between the Fey elite and, well, everyone else. The city is broken into 6 main districts, and they move from total squalor in the north and west toward utter affluence in the east.
Let's start at the bottom of that hierarchy, the Dregs, also called Glenwoods. This district is in the north and west. It's the heart of poverty, of squalor, and it's the primary residence for the humor population.
And, crucially, for the half-Fey population.
Yes.
And that district, it defines Kerrigan's secret life. The Dregs are home to the underground dragon ring, which is where she fights for money, and I think to maintain some sense of control.
It seems like it.
And this is also the power base of the crime lord, doesn't Rook? So the Dregs are politically marginalized, but socially and criminally, they are immensely powerful because of Rook's influence.
So as you move away from there, toward the center, you hit the central district.
Right, the commerce hub.
This is where you find the markets, the inns, the taverns. It's really the only district that sees a true mixture of people.
But only for a little while.
Right, largely because it just explodes with tourists and hopefuls during the annual tournament season. It's a temporary intersection point, but it's not a place where power truly resides.
No, power resides on the east side, the Row. This is where the old Fey aristocracy lives.
Stately mansions.
Oh yeah, think impossibly stately mansions, where nodal families, especially the Bryonican nobles, maintain their generational power, completely isolated, completely cut off from the Dregs.
And you can contrast that with the riverfront, which is down in the southwest. This is the new money section.
Fey, who made their fortunes recently, maybe through trade or exploiting resources, they settle here. And this is where the villain, Fearsome Nyx, lives.
Oh, that's interesting.
It symbolizes that new wave of aggressive, materialistic Fey power. He's not old money.
He's not from the row. Finally, we have the artisan village in the southeast.
Yeah, filled with artists and craftspeople. It's like the cultural heart of the city.
But its location and its lack of any real political protection make it so vulnerable.
Totally. And that's why it becomes a major target for the Red Masks later on. It illustrates that the violence they're perpetrating specifically targets the softer, more human-leaning edges of Fae society.
Okay, so above all these districts, you have the central authority, known just as the society.
Simple name, total control.
All the political, military, and economic influence is concentrated in the hands of 12 great houses. We hear names like Harasi and Galanthia, but Bryonica is really the one that matters most to our story.
Absolutely. Bryonica is the wealthiest territory, all of Villain,
Okay.
and they have maintained that dominance through ruthless political strategy. But they aren't monolithic. They control 4 royal houses that are meant to stabilize their power.
Those are Storm, Drame, Cruz, and Medallion.
And we should detail this hierarchy because it's critical to Kerrigan's secret. Storm is the current ruling family, which includes Heli Mistress Helena and her cousin Sonali.
Okay.
Then you have Drame, another major royal house. And finally, there is Cruz, which is Kerrigan's father's house.
And the sources mentioned that the House of Cruz had fallen out of favor.
For a long time, yeah. They lost their ruling line centuries ago. They were weakened, but still royal, still had the name.
What's so fascinating here is the sheer political cruelty behind their whole structure. The primary strategy to avoid civil war among these 4 Bryonican houses is systematic generational intermarriage.
It's a literal forced blending of bloodlines to diffuse power struggles. It strips away any personal choice for the sake of political stability.
Which is a perfect representation of the stifling nature of the Fae elite.
And all of this elite maneuvering happens on the back of the most devastating social fault line in Elandria, the inherent hatred and persecution of the halflings.
This defines Kerrigan's entire existence. Full-blooded Fae are easy to identify. They have sharply pointed ears. They are the ruling, powerful class.
Right.
The half-Fae, or halflings, have delicately pointed ears. And the vast majority of the Fae aristocracy just refuses to acknowledge that half-Fae can even possess magic.
Or that they should even exist at all. They view them as impurities, a stain on the bloodline.
The language used against them is archaic and just deeply racist. The slur Litha is thrown around so freely by bigots like fearsome Nix.
And it's an ancient Fae word. It translates directly to half-breed bitch. This ingrained generational racism is the air Kerrigan breathes every single day.
So that raises a really important question. If the aristocracy is so deeply racist, and the Cruz house is a royal lineage, how did the House of Dragons, which is supposed to be the pinnacle of Fae training, allow a half-Fae like Kerrigan to enter their program in the first place?
Even if she was hiding it.
Right, even hiding. Was that a political anomaly?
That's a great observation. The House of Dragons on Draco Mountain, it occupies this really unique space. While it serves the society, its core mission is focused on finding and training those blessed by the dragons.
Regardless of bloodline.
In theory, the Dragon Blessed program is driven by magic potential, which sometimes overrides social bigotry. Especially since the dragons themselves are these entities of pure power who don't care about Fae politics.
I see.
So Kerrigan's presence is a loophole. It's a small crack in the Fae hegemony, but it's one she exploits brilliantly.
So this volatile hierarchy, where a person is judged not by their skill but by the literal shape of their ears, is the exact environment our protagonist, Kerrigan Argon, is forced to navigate.
Living a lie at the very center of Fae society.
So let's delve into that lie.
Kerrigan Argon is the ultimate contradiction. She operates in 2 separate worlds, she possesses this catastrophic hidden magical ability, and she is actively running from the single greatest political prize she inherited by blood.
Let's start with the central, painful truth. Her secret royal identity. The sources revealed that the girl known as Kerrigan Argon, the scrappy fighter from the dregs, is actually Lady Felicity Argon, first of the House of Cruz.
Which makes her a Bryonican royal.
And potentially a lost princess with a very viable claim to power.
But the circumstances of her becoming lost? They're critical to her psychology. This wasn't some noble sacrifice or a political exile to protect her.
Not at all.
Her father, Lord Kivrin Argon, a high Fae royal, abandoned her at the steps of Draco Mountain when she was only 5 years old.
And why?
Because her shorter, delicately pointed ears began to show her half-Fae heritage. He couldn't stand the shame.
Wait, so the same blood that makes her a princess is the exact reason her own father, a high Fae noble, violently rejected her and just threw her away.
Yeah.
That's brutal irony. It entirely explains her deep-seated fear of being trapped or being forced to return to that noble past. She sees her heritage not as a prize, but as the origin of her betrayal.
Precisely. The trauma of that abandonment translates into a fear of being owned or controlled by anyone. She views the mountain as flawed but honest. It's the closest thing she has to a real home, and she despises her father for his cowardly cruelty. That abandonment narrative is the engine driving her need for freedom.
Okay, now let's tackle her magic. She is a powerful mage, capable of wielding multiple elements.
She is. She favors fire magic. She calls it her easiest and chosen element, which really reflects her aggressive, passionate nature.
But when she's fighting underground in the wastes, she uses air magic almost exclusively. Why is that?
That choice to use air magic in the Dragon Ring isn't random at all. It's a calculated move to be less conspicuous. Fire is flashy, it's memorable, it's highly traceable.
Right, someone would notice.
Air magic, while it's still powerful, is less associated with high-profile Fey power, and it allows her to blend in slightly better in the marginalized dregs. It's just part of the elaborate cover she maintains.
But her defining and most dangerous power is the Harbinger gift. This is a prophetic ability, these uncontrollable visions of the future, and it sets her apart from almost every other character in the story.
The lore surrounding this is fascinating and absolutely terrifying. The sources explicitly state that this gift is so rare and dangerous that it's only chronicled in ancient children's books.
Children's books.
Yeah, and those books served as warnings, not fairy tales, because the gifted child is always hunted down and killed. That context frames the intense secrecy Kerrigan maintains. She knows her life depends on hiding this volatile power.
And the physical cost of this gift is immense. The visions aren't just mentally incapacitating.
No, they siphon all her energy. They lead to intense magical depletion and often blackouts. They also serve as this grim warning system, frequently preceding major personal dangers, whether it's the reappearance of the Red Masks or a major confrontation during the tournament.
Okay, now we have to move to the ultimate terrifying secret, the power that even Kerrigan doesn't fully understand.
The uncontrolled energy explosion.
Yes.
This is a raw, pure defense mechanism that triggers only during moments of extreme, life-threatening peril. It's the ultimate expression of her unstable spirit magic.
And here's a shocking revelation that ties directly into the crime lord Dozenrook. 5 years ago, during these massive protests, Kerrigan unknowingly triggered this explosion.
Right, and it resulted in the immediate death of several Fey guards and protesters.
And Dozenrook, recognizing the volatility and power of what she'd done, he covered up the fact that she was the source of the deaths.
He then manipulated the entire narrative, allowing her to believe that he was the one who saved her life that night. And that act of deception gave him years of leverage and influence over her, effectively making her beholden to the King of the Wastes. This power is the very definition of a double-edged sword, a terrifying force that offers ultimate defense but compromises her soul in the process.
This internal complexity forces her into her dual existence, the wastes versus the mountain. At Draco Mountain, she's the dragon-blessed student, learning Fey etiquette and training formally, but she's secretly gambling her life fighting in the Dragon Ring in the dregs.
And her preference for the dregs is philosophical. She feels the wastes make more sense and are more honest.
More honest than the Fey court, I bet.
Exactly. The mountain represents the stifling, hypocritical politics of Fey society and the pain of her past. The Dragon Ring, despite the brutality, operates on transparent rules. You survive by being strong. There's no political deception. The danger is visible. This honesty is her strange form of refuge.
Her life is really held together by 3 key, deeply compromised relationships that set the entire investigation in motion.
First, the tragedy of Liam. He was her closest male friend.
Yeah.
Liam made the mistake of confessing that he knew her secret. He had overheard her telling Helly about the Harbinger visions a year prior, and he was murdered shortly after that confession.
So his death is the immediate, desperate catalyst for Kerrigan's investigation. She realizes her secret is out, and it cost her friend his life. Then there's Helly, Mistress Selena of the House of Storm.
Right.
Now, why does a powerful Fey like her, from the ruling family, risk everything to shield a half-Fey royal?
Well, Helly seems to be one of the few characters who truly understands the complexity of the political landscape. She's Kerrigan's closest adult ally and one of the only people who knows the truth about her heritage and the visions.
Her assistance is vital.
Oh, totally. particularly when she secures Kerrigan that critical 1-month extension to find a house patron after the disastrous ceremony.
And finally, Dozenrook, the crime lord and king of the wastes.
Her savior.
Right, whose savior status is built on a lie. But he remains this complicated ally. He provides Kerrigan crucial information specifically about a weapons deal connected to the assassin, but only in exchange for a tremendous price.
The big fight.
Yeah, he wants her to fight for him in a prearranged fight to the death with no possibility of yielding.
And this exchange further compromises Kerrigan, forcing her to embrace the brutality of the wastes, even as she's seeking justice in the upper world.
It's clear that Kerrigan is navigating a moral maze where the people she trusts the most are either compromised by crime or burdened by secrecy.
And Liam's death immediately pulls her into that larger political web.
So Liam's murder wasn't random at all.
No, it was tied directly into the largest terrorist conspiracy threatening Kincadia, a conspiracy that has deep, dangerous roots in the city's past.
The physical threat is the Red Masks. They are universally recognized as an anti-human and anti-half-fae hate group.
They have a history of public violence. They burned human institutions, like the Laments Church in Kincadia. And significantly, they were responsible for the murders that took place 5 years prior.
The same night, Kerrigan unknowingly used her energy blast.
The very same night. And the book reveals this powerful moment of convergence. The villain is Besom Nix,
The racist bruiser Kerrigan famously humiliated in the Dragon Ring.
the one who called her that hateful slur, Letha. His personal humiliation and his deep-seated racism are the immediate motives that drive him to lead the Red Masks.
His motive isn't just personal revenge, though. It's fueled by pure ideological hatred, the belief that half-fae should be eradicated, and this larger plot to instill terror in Kincadia.
He's the face of the revolution, the loud, aggressive figurehead the police can focus on while the real work happens in the shadows.
Right, but the conspiracy runs so much deeper than just street violence. Besom rigged the Dragon Blessed ceremony against Kerrigan, and in doing so revealed a massive operation involving kidnapping and the illegal trade of artifacts.
Yes. Besom's leverage over Ellerby Emberton, who's a representative of the magic-rejecting Alciande house, was the kidnapping of Ellerby's young nephew, Ever.
This is a perfect piece of political manipulation. Ellerby was poised to choose Kerrigan as a patron, which would have offered her political protection.
And to save Ever, Ellerby was forced to publicly abandon Kerrigan during the ceremony. This ensured she remained unchosen and vulnerable. It was a strategic humiliation orchestrated entirely by Besom.
And what was Besom's illegal trade? You mentioned artifacts.
Powerful magical artifacts from Alciande. Alciande House is notorious for rejecting magic, yet ironically, they were the keepers of objects designed to contain or filter magic.
And most of these were supposedly destroyed during the Great Purge, right? This historical event where the Fae establishment systematically wiped out specific types of dangerous or unauthorized magic, cementing their control.
Exactly. So because the Great Purge destroyed most of these filtering artifacts, the few remaining ones are incredibly rare, incredibly valuable, and dangerously volatile.
Which is why they're such a valuable commodity for terrorists who are seeking to disrupt the Fae magical hierarchy.
Absolutely. And Besom uses one of them, the Carthai Amber Orb, in his final confrontation against Kerrigan. It proves they intended to use these ancient, suppressed tools to wage modern war.
Meanwhile, the assassin who killed Liam, the white-haired Isa, turns out to be a key element in the broader organizational chart of the Red Masks.
She is not just a hired knife. She admitted she murdered Liam because he was in my way during her hunt for Kerrigan.
Just collateral damage.
To her, yes. But the deepest plot twist, though, is that Isa is the daughter of the true ultimate leader of the Red Masks, a shadowy figure who wears the original Red Mask, operating far above Besom Nix.
This hierarchy demonstrates a calculated long-term political agenda.
It does.
And we see the consequences of this organizational structure in the final act, where Isa's father executes Besom.
He executes the man who just terrorized the city and led the riot. For acting prematurely and ruining years of careful, calculated revolutionary planning. Besom was expendable, a useful spark that ignited way too early.
That is a chilling detail. It shows us that Besom Nix was merely the tactical leader, a useful idiot for the true strategic mastermind.
Exactly. But before that chilling reveal, Kerrigan and Fordham have to follow the clues Besom left behind.
Right. The key investigation involves tracking down Ellerby. Their journey to Ellerby's home in Archdale, Alcyonde, is
It
intense.
is. They have to steal a dragon ride on Tavri, who's this very demanding dragon who
Eh.
forces them to promise they'll return by dawn, adding this layer of immediate time pressure.
But the truly elegant moment comes from Fordham's linguistic insight.
I love this part.
Ellerby's farewell note used the Fey word soon, and Fordham immediately flags this.
Yeah, he explains that in customary Fey correspondence, the appropriate closing word would have been again, which implies a hopeful return.
Right, I'll see you again.
But the use of soon suggests immediate, overwhelming distress. It confirms that Ellerby was kidnapped and forced to write the note, rather than having simply skipped town. That subtle shift in language is what propels their entire investigation toward the climax.
That's a perfect example of how the cultural texture of Elandria serves the plot. The smallest detail, a single Fey word, can uncover a massive conspiracy.
And that leads us right into the tournament. The Dragon-Blessed ceremony functions as the breaking point for Kerrigan's life, forcing her into that dangerous, consequential alliance with Fordham Olivier.
The ceremony's official result is twofold. First, Hadrian is unexpectedly chosen by two powerful houses.
Javel of Sayre and Fallon of Galanthia, a notorious warhouse.
Right, and he chooses Fallon and accepts the Galanthian gold torque collar, marking his entry into the elite military complex.
Then comes Kerrigan's moment of public political humiliation. She is the last person called, and she remains unchosen.
This sparks the half-Fey slur among the gathered crowd, highlighting the deep racism of the society.
But this moment also serves a narrative purpose.
Yeah.
It's when Audria, a key Bryonican royal, finally recognizes the resemblance and realizes Kerrigan is her long-lost half-sister, Lady Felicity Argon.
The most consequential development, though, is the immediate, complex alliance she forms with Fordham Olivier, the dark Fey prince from the shadowy House of Shatters. And initially, this relationship is pure conflict and intense personal dislike.
Well, Fordham starts out as profoundly arrogant and condescending. He refers to her as a halfling
Immediately.
and is brutally honest about the atrocities his people, the House of Shadows, commit against half-breeds. He embodies the exact aristocratic cruelty that Kerrigan despises.
Yet the necessity of survival during the tournament and the external threat of Bassam just force them together, and Fordham quickly becomes her weapons and strategy coach.
And he's not preparing her for a contest, he's preparing her for warfare. His training philosophy is fascinatingly brutal. It reflects his dark heritage. He focuses relentlessly on training out her sloppy mistakes.
The stuff she learned in the dregs.
The instinctual, unrefined moves, yes. His core principles are to do the opposite of what your opponent expects, and to never hesitate to kill or be killed. He's preparing her to survive the political battlefield, applying the harsh honesty of the wastes to the formality of the Fey system.
It sounds like he's teaching her to think like a true schemer, not just a fighter.
Exactly.
But why does a dark Fey prince risk training a half-Fey royal? This immediately forces a discussion of Fordham's own burdens.
And we get a critical confession from him. He is not at Draco Mountain by choice. He has been exiled from the House of Shadows.
Okay.
More dramatically, he reveals he is literally cursed by dark magic. The curse is absolute. It forces him to wander perpetually and to hurt all those I care for.
That's a profoundly deep emotional burden. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a literal, dark, magical promise that means any genuine affection he develops is doomed to end in destruction for the object of that affection.
Exactly. And this is why he fears his growing feelings for Kerrigan. He knows, or at least he believes, he is destined to destroy her.
And his power, black smoke magic, reflects that dark, volatile heritage.
It does. This is his family's specific ability, allowing him to literally bend the darkness between places. This is what we see when he uses it for rapid, shadow-infused travel, instantly moving great distances.
But the sources are clear that this is extremely draining and physically dangerous for him to execute.
Oh yeah, it's not a parlor trick. It's a high-cost ability that wears him down, illustrating that his assistance to Kerrigan always comes at a massive personal expense.
Now let's look at the path Kerrigan takes to become a dragon rider, which is highly unintentional.
Very unintentional. Her journey begins when her curiosity leads her into the testing room of the ancient dragon, Gelrin the Destroyer.
And Gelrin tests her pure magical prowess. Kerrigan is so innately stubborn that she pushes past the dragon's mental barriers during the assessment.
And this incredible force of will inadvertently pulls both of them onto the spiritual plane.
Okay, so we need context for that. What is the spiritual plane in this world?
It's a dimension beyond the physical. It's a space of pure magic and intent, When you're on the spiritual plane, you're accessing the very foundation of your power. For Gelrin, who is ancient and powerful, it's a standard tool.
Meant for her.
But Kerrigan, through sheer force of untamed power, drags them both there. Gelrin admits he had never witnessed a novice accomplish such a feat before.
And on this plane, Gelrin can assess the true nature of her magic.
Right. She proves incredibly strong in the elements she practices, fire and air. But Gelrin also confirms that her spirit magic, which enables the plane travel, is dangerously unstable.
Because in the Harbinger ability.
Precisely because of the raw, untamed nature of her Harbinger ability. It's a reflection of chaos, not control.
But despite the instability, Gelrin recognizes the massive potential and allows her to pass the testing.
This gives her the magical validation she needs, even though she wasn't seeking the Dragon Rider title at all.
Her entry into the final task, the treacherous forest and cave system, is purely reactive.
She only enters to warn and protect Fordham from the known dangers and the assassination threat she suspects is lurking in there.
And once inside, her spiritual connection resurfaces. She unconsciously commands a raven flight, a guide, mirroring elements from her visions, and a symbol of fate within this world's lore that leads them directly to the correct cave entrance.
Bypassing the mortal perils of the maze. This is her Harbinger power, manifesting beneficially for a change.
The ultimate validation comes after the brutal final task. After fighting Darid to ensure Fordham escapes and makes it into the final 5, the room magic of the cave accepts Kerrigan herself as a legitimate competitor.
The sources make it clear that she passed the required fear test. She didn't seek the title, but her actions, which were driven by selflessness and courage, earned her the status of a potential Dragon Rider.
So with Kerrigan now established as a legitimate, if accidental, competitor, the narrative just hurtles toward a massive climax.
A climax involving dragon bonding, a royal declaration, and citywide terrorism, all at once.
The moment of truth arrives. The dragon chooses her. She is bonded to Tyrion, a magnificent midnight blue dragon. This is the ultimate, undeniable validation of her power and her place in the magical hierarchy.
But the politics immediately crashed the celebration. Audrea, having confirmed Kerrigan is her half-sister, Lady Felicity Argon, executes a massive political maneuver.
She publicly selects Kerrigan into Bryonica under the House of Drame.
And this is done completely against Kerrigan's fierce rejection, as Audrea fully intends to bring her back into the royal family, reclaiming the lost princess for their house's benefit.
This political hijacking, however, is instantly overshadowed by the terrifying climax, the Red Mask Riot.
Besom Nix, having escaped custody and determined to ignite his revolution, sets the artisan village ablaze and begins terrorizing the streets, acting as the fully revealed Red Mask leader.
And the response from the protagonists demonstrates Kerrigan's new role as a true protector. She takes to the air on Tyrion, joining Fordham and Audrea.
And what's crucial here is that Audrea, the High Fae noble, she steps up and takes command of the rescue effort. They use coordinated water magic, drawing the river's water to douse the flames, directly linking back to protecting those marginalized districts we talked about.
This moment is high drama and high symbolism. Kerrigan lands and confronts the masked leader, ripping the mask off to reveal Besom Nix.
And she uses all her trained magic to fight him. She successfully seizes the illegally powerful Karthai Amber Orb artifact he was wielding, and she subdues him, which leads to his arrest by the guard.
This public heroic action has massive societal implications.
Huge.
Kerrigan, the Hafe, is celebrated for saving a section of the city and exposing Besom Nix's terrorist plot.
This instantly silences her powerful Fae critics, like Lorien, and publicly secures her place as a society dragon rider. Her inherent legitimacy, earned through blood and fire, overrides the ingrained racism, at least for the moment.
But despite the victory, Kerrigan is left with a profound, character-defining choice regarding her immediate future.
Her dilemma is existential. She is now legally bound to the House of Drame in Bryonica, but she fiercely rejects the political games and the pain of that royal past.
Then she has an alternative, a compelling offer from Fordham to join the Dark Court under the House of Shadows.
But that path is fraught with the danger of his literal dark magic curse, the promise that he will eventually destroy anything he loves.
Her resolution is the core of her character arc. She affirms her choice to fight for her own freedom and reject the destiny others plan for her.
She refuses the forced return to royal life in Bryonica, just as she refuses the potentially destructive, predestined path of the Dark Court. She resolves to define her own third path forward, It's a choice of true self-determination.
However, the immediate relief of Bessemnix's defeat is completely undermined by the final, chilling thought the sources leave us with.
Yeah. We see the unseen threat emerge. Isa's father, the original Red Mask leader,
He executes Bessemnix in the dungeon, killing him without mercy and calling him a sacrifice.
and the execution was necessary because Bassum's riot was premature. He ruined the careful timing of their much larger long-term revolution. Bassem wasn't the master, he was just a disposable tool.
This means that while Kerrigan won the Dragon Rider title and exposed the immediate terrorist, the true mastermind, the leader of the Red Masks, Isa's calculated and ruthless father, remains free.
And he is focused on escalating the political and social unrest in Elandria on a much larger timeline.
So she is not safe. Kerrigan, with her unique and volatile Harbinger powers, now stands as a highly visible, celebrated half-face society Dragon Rider.
She has become the ultimate symbol of the establishment that this calculated revolutionary seeks to destroy.
Which sets her up as the central, unavoidable target in the escalating conflict to come.
Absolutely.
And that, learner, brings us to the end of this deep dive. We have navigated the brutal social divisions of Concadia, revealed the traumatic origins of Kerrigan's royal lineage, dissected the mechanics of her explosive Harbinger power, and laid bare the sophisticated political conspiracy involving ancient artifacts and murderous hate groups.
You now possess the core knowledge of this intricate narrative structure. You understand that every single detail, from the Fey word soon to the history of the Great Purge, was interconnected.
You've gotten a shortcut to understanding this dense world.
Yeah.
The fight for Elandria is far from over, and the personal fight for Kerrigan's freedom has just become a political, world-changing struggle. The question we want to leave you with, one that builds on all the complexity we've uncovered, is this. How will Kerrigan navigate her new reality, chosen by a dragon and bound to a house she distrusts, while the most dangerous, patient, and ruthless enemy prepares to strike from the shadows?
Can she truly carve out a free path in a world that is determined to claim her for either the royal family or the Dark Revolution?